Good morning to the Wine Village. Today we have got a very controversial discussion. With or without? With alcohol or without alcohol? You know, lockdown has teach us a lot. And we find it more and more difficult every day to explain to people that alcohol is not always the in thing. At last we've come together, and me and Jaco decided to put together a list of de-alcoholized, 0% alcohol items together where we can explain to you what big fun we can have, that it is really something that we can enjoy day in and day out, night in and morning out. So in the beginning, I said to Jaco, today we're going to pull the wizard out of the bottle. Now,
what is a wizard, Paul?
a wizard is the man who gave the witch her broom. That's something for you to source. De-alcoholized wine. By law, in South Africa, any de-alcoholized classified wine or certified wine must have less than 0.5% of alcohol by volume. In principle, we have two kinds of alcohol-free wine, if you want to call it that way. That means it must be made from grapes. It's important. It's either a straightforward grape juice, which is always very sweet, or it may be a de-alcoholized wine. In that case, there's a few types that we find, and I'm going to run through them quickly. I don't want to get technical about it. First, we call them 0% alcohol. That means no fermentation took place, which leaves all the juicy, fruity flavors inside the wine, and it also has all the nice, juicy, fruity sugars. So it is sweet.
So it's like a fruit juice then, Paul?
It's like a fruit juice. It's like a fruit juice. And Ina is a very classic example. They call it a superior grape juice. They make it from Shiraz, they make it from Cabernet Sauvignon.
Okay.
And if you really taste the wine, you come to a point where you can say, well, you know, really, I can pick up a little bit of tannin, and I can pick up the Cabernet Sauvignon blackberry flavors onto it. But it is sweet. The second way of creating a non-alcoholic wine is to allow some fermentation and then mix it with unfermented wines. Now, the reason for that is it tastes more like wine.
So they make wine first and then
They ferment grape juice a little bit.
Okay.
They don't specify how much alcohol you will get.
Okay.
But I can't see that there will be a lot of alcohol in it, because they then reduce the alcohol by adding unfermented juice.
Okay.
But you do find that there's definitely a little bit more wine flavors to it. It gives you a feeling in your mouth of a little bit dryness. On the red wines, there's a little bit of tannin to it, although it is not chalky dry.
Okay.
The third one is where we talk about de-alcoholized. For that sense, and it's very expensive, they allow wine to ferment the full process. So they create a classic Cabernet Sauvignon wine, or a Sauvignon Blanc, or a Chardonnay, or a Chenin. A full-bodied wine with 13-14% alcohol by volume.
So actually it's even cultivar driven as well.
It's even by cultivar driven.
Yeah.
They allow fermentation to take place 100%. It has got all the flavors, all the berry flavors, all the spiciness to it. It has got the tannin structure to it.
Right.
At some point they've got to take the alcohol out.
Okay.
And there's two ways that we do it. We either remove it by reverse osmosis,
Right.
which is a relatively easy process, but it takes a bit of time.
Yeah. Then goes to filter system.
It's a filter system. It's a movement of moisture and keeping behind the alcohol, or allowing the alcohol moving, keeping the moisture behind. And then there's a process of vacuum distillation, where the wine is heated up to 30 odd degrees Celsius. The evaporation at that point is then spit off by a vacuum, and the alcohol is removed, but the flavors are being
Without
kept
damaging the wine. That's probably why they
without
boil.
damages the wine.
Yeah, that's right.
Very important. You lose a little bit of the tannin structure,
Yeah.
but the flavor of the
Okay.
wine is in. Right. Now, at the end of the day, why do we do it? I have discussed all the odds and ends. Why most people believe that we should have more de-alcoholized wines or more 0% wines. But how do we treat it? How do we drink it? When do we drink it?
Is it a wine that can mature? I wouldn't think so, Paul.
I don't think it's made to mature.
No.
I don't think we should whatsoever feel that it is something that we should keep for 10 years.
I'm just surprised at the wine village that we, and what you guys see here is that we've got such a big variety of these de-alcoholized or zero alcohol wines. I'm really quite stunned.
Now, we have Darling Cellars vegan friendly red, and what a beautiful wine glass. Isn't it
I like
extraordinary?
that. It's something different for a change, isn't it?
Something very different. And I am going to stir up the
Oh,
witch's
that's
broom.
Ah,
A bit of rosemary,
there comes
very
the
quickly.
controversy.
And I am then going to add a touch of bitter lemon.
So, Paul, you can make cocktails from the alcoholized wine.
We have to remember a cocktail is something you find on a mixed horse race. Did you know that?
No.
A cocktail. A cocktail is that beautiful high bound up
Yeah.
tail of a
Oh,
horse.
that's what they call it.
Yeah, oh, well, cocktail.
Why would-
However, I think this is more like a mocktail.
Okay.
Beautiful, fresh, refreshing. I stirred in a bit of rosemary. I gave it a little bit, about 1 out of 5 of bitter lemon, and you've got this incredible, refreshing red wine drink.
Well, I'm going to try that.
Gorgeous,
Oh, really?
refreshing.
It smells like
You
wine with
pick
the.
up the smell, you
Yes.
pick up the flavors. It's crispy dry on the palate, and what great fun.
This is unbelievable. I would have never thought this. I mean, this is like a Saturday afternoon, even a morning. You can have it.
I'm going to, without the ice.
Yeah. You've got a white wine there.
Yes, I've got a white wine, and I'm taking some ginger beer. Now, this is the Fitch and Leeds spicy ginger. People, it's a little bit of ginger beer, and I'm adding a starred aniseed clove and 2 coffee beans.
We're treating
Now,
it like a gin almost.
It is, if you understand the mixology behind your gin making
Yeah.
and the process of serving interesting cocktails of gin, you find that you can put these flavor profiles together and just look at that. It looks fun. You can put ice in, you can put a rose petal in, you can put a caper flower in, and by adding a bit of spices, cinnamon, coffee, cloves, or ginger, and on the fruity side you can have a slice of orange, gooseberries, strawberries. You can really make up
Oh my word.
a big a range of mocktails.
It's so refreshing. You definitely can taste the wine. The ginger ale takes it to another level.
It just lifts it.
Yeah.
There's something else I had in mind, and that is if we are looking at something a bit more serious, Jacob, and I'm going to add a dry lemon again to a red wine, and there's no ice to it this time, and no,
That's will be interesting.
just see how the two flavors blend into each other.
Oh my
It's a
word.
grapey feel with this touch of bitter lemon on the one side, and the two flavors complement each other. Beautiful. It's refreshing. At this point in time, you will try and steer clear of what we perceive as being wine. This is just something to enjoy the day with.
You're like a wizard, Paul.
You no, I never gave my broom away. I hope this was a little bit of an introduction that you should never be scared of putting forward an alcohol-free wine. If it is full of sugar, turn it down with a bit of soda water. a lot of ice. Serve it on crushed ice, pour it, stir it roughly, give it the feeling of fun. Never ever advertise it as a substitute to wine. It needs to be something that you can enjoy morning, noon, and night. It's an alternative to wine. It gives you the feeling of wine, however, don't expect to have the big tannin bold structures that you normally have.
I must say, Paul, to interrupt you there, I was very nervous to taste these ones because you never know what to expect. And we actually tasted this blind, so you must understand, what the response will be. I'm actually quite blown away that these are very palatable.
I pick up that lovely lemon lime zestiness in the red wine, de-alcoholized red wine. Viewers, enjoy the day. At Wine Village, we always come forward with a broomstick and something new. Enjoy the day.
Cheers.